Hey everybody, sorry it's been a while, but we're finally going to get to do another cigar review. We are doing the Cortez 10th Aniversario in Torpedo. This stick actually comes from a shop, a quote unquote local shop, but shop down in Silver Spring that a friend of mine works or knows, visits, told me that I should try and get into. So we're going to cut this off light, see how this goes. All right. All right, guys. So first light. If you didn't see, so this is a torpedo. So what I actually did was I cut it at an angle. Um, Reason being, you get a little more surface area. So when they wrap a torpedo, instead of just blunting the cap and rounding it off, they actually round it to a point. When they do that, when you cut it at an angle. Gives you just a little bit more surface area, a little bit better draw. One nice thing about a torpedo is you really can't unwrap the wrapper. It's just the whole thing's going to come down to the point. So if you feel like you've got a tight draw and you want to open it up, just there you go. Open it up a little bit more, cut it a little bit deeper, and you'll get a better draw. Second point on this thing, I didn't light it really well. There's a little bit right here. I'm going to have to relight it just a tad. Couldn't seem to really get that one piece. You'll see me here every now and then. What I'll do when I light, I blow into the front end of it and into the foot. And the reason I do that is I can then see, hey, did I get a good light? So we'll keep going. Okay, so we're about 15 minutes into the first third here. As I said, with every Cortez cigar I have ever had, razor sharp burn, even though I didn't like this thing great on the first part. It is humid and overcast here, which obviously plays a part in how your cigars burn, and this thing could care less. I have got to say, if you get a chance to buy a Cortez cigar, you are going to get the most fantastic burn you'll ever get on the cigar. I've never had any of their cigars not burn just razor sharp. So far as we go through, I would label this kind of on the border of medium body full. Definitely at least medium body, getting up there into the fuller body. Getting a lot of good flavor, and it's lasting. It's a long finish. It started out kind of, I'm going to say harsh, and I don't mean that in any sort of bad term. Like I said, you had a lot of pepper. But harsh kind of comes to mind in that aspect. It was just kind of really in your face type thing. And that lasted through maybe the first 10 minutes, maybe the first 3 or 4 draws. But after that, that's kind of settled down a little bit. Now, I am pairing that with some coffee, which has a little bit of creamer in it, which could kind of mute some of those flavors. But still, you can taste the cigar long after you've blown out the smoke. So it's got a nice long finish, which is actually really nice. Something, it's kind of sad sometimes when you get a cigar and it's got a really short finish. I would say overall there's a toasty, kind of roasted flavor in there. Can't quite put my finger on it. It's definitely not like roasted nuts or anything, but kind of like if you toast bread, that's there. There's a little bit of cream, and that's probably coming from the coffee on this part. But overall, I would say this is a really good start to this cigar. I just tapped off the ash on the first third, came off in a nice big chunk. It probably would have stayed a little bit longer, but I don't really feel like having things fall in my lap. So we'll keep going. Okay, so we're well into the second third, middle third of this cigar right now. That pepper has kind of faded away, which is a little sad. I would have liked for that to have stayed a little bit longer, but overall the cigar is staying. It's still it's definitely kind of fallen into the medium range right now. but it's gotten a little bit smoother, which is kind of nice. The finish is still staying really long. You're getting, so even though after I blow out the smoke, I'm still getting tastes and flavors, well after that. Kind of one of the things that with this cigar you can kind of tell, because it's really handmade. It's not kind of one of those that's more factory made or mass produced. It's a little bit softer right here, but still holding strong. It's burning a little bit fast. You'd like to see it maybe slow down just a tad on this thing. The burn continues to stay razor sharp, not having any issues, even though it's a high humidity day. I can't really say too much about this cigar that I don't like. I love these cigars the way that they do this. One of the things to notice about this, and Perdomos are one of the bands. They put a ton of art onto the bands. Some of those the Deadwood line from Drew Estate, they do a really good job with the sugar skulls. This one, check this out. So it's just a little white band. It's got a little blue band right there, a little thin band. It says 10 Aniversario. But just overall, it's a really clean band, kind of a really smooth band, but it's one of those, I don't know why, but the white really pops out on you. Something that you'd want to keep your eye on. So if you go down to Silver Spring or go up to New Jersey and you get a chance to go into the Cortez shops, check this out so far. This is a really fun cigar. Okay, so we're into the final third on this thing. Had one, it went out on me maybe 15 minutes ago or so. Had to relight it, and that was probably my fault. Felt it going low, tried to save it, and just couldn't. Relit it, didn't have any effect on flavor or taste, so that's a really good thing. And as you can see, like for the most part, the burn came right back to, like I said, just being razor sharp. Starting to go a little hot, which is actually really impressive for something that is getting this low. Normally they start getting hot a little bit sooner on this, and I end up putting it out right about the time we get to the final third. So one thing I will say about these Cortez, I feel like I can get a little bit longer smokes on these because they don't go hot as soon, and that's really impressive, especially given the fact that it is soft. Usually you'll see that with what I would say a little bit tighter pack cigars, they tend to burn a little bit slower and don't get hot as fast. For something that's soft like this, you tend to see a little bit faster burn, and they get hot really fast just because you're pulling the cherry, you're pulling that fire, further into the cigar. Not seeing that with this one. A little bit, right as I got into that transition of the final third, the pepper came back a little bit, and it's gone away. I would say that's probably my only quote unquote complaint on this thing, is I wish the pepper was there a little bit more. Something I really like. This one actually had transitions, and that's not something that I see a lot. It's not something that I personally can kind of tell. I tend to like, okay, there's the major flavor of the cigar. It's kind of what I taste. This one, there was pepper, there was a little bit of that toast that I talked about. I got a little bit of leather kind of in that middle, right as that transition. I got a little bit more pepper. And now, right now, it's just kind of hot. You're getting probably more tobacco at this end. But just overall, this has been a great cigar. This is something with every Cortez cigar that I do. I think that they do a fantastic, they're hand rolled. They do a great job with this stuff. I absolutely recommend it for you guys. I would tell you with these, though, that you want to give yourself a little bit of time. They do, it felt to me like it was burning fast. I felt like holy cow, I'm in the second third already. And I look up, and now I've been smoking this thing for over an hour, so, great. One thing with torpedoes, and it's a personal preference and mouthfeel, you end up biting this thing a little bit further so that you can get a grip on it, because otherwise you're biting this little small tip, and it's just, I have a hard time with that. So if you decide to go with a torpedo, just remember that, and remember you can cut this thing shorter or longer as you need to. But overall, this is something. Go down to Silver Spring if you're in Maryland. Go up to New Jersey. Go up to, if you can find this online, which is where I ordered this. Go there and order these cigars. You're going to get a fantastic cigar. You're going to get something that burns evenly and smoothly. and overall, like I said, you know, for something that's not the name brands, the Drew Estates and the Perdomos and you know AJ Fuentes and things like that. This is right up there. The only other complaint that I would have is just as a general is I wish it put out a little more smoke. I kind of feel like, you know, it Drew Estate will put you to where you're like, I wish everything would do that. It's just clouds of vaping smoke. This doesn't do that. It puts out good smoke, you know, not tons and tons of clouds of smoke, and I kind of wish it would. But other than that, I would say this is a fantastic cigar. We'll do a couple shout outs here. Going to do a shout out to my buddy Matt, who lives down in Silver Spring and who helped turn me on to these. And just overall, go get you one of these. You won't regret it in the least. See you next time.